Rational is true with Prabhupada. Bowl. Om Agnya. Namo Om Vishnu. Oh, sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Tivrandasya Jnana Jalachalakaya Chakshunamitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtamena Bhutale Shri Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Dantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhrischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vaishnava Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Tadesh Tarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Let's see which chapter we have. Oh, 38.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Oh,
Krishna,
30.
Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jani Prabhu.
Hey!
Prabhupada. Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Jani Prabhu Sari Bol, you know?
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jani Prabhu Sari Bol. Jani Prabhu Sari Bol is like a re.
But where is Lebahan Prabhu? Jani Prabhu, can you summon him?
Yes, Prabhu. Let's do a read. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your association.
I think he get hammer by the boat. You know, yesterday boat. There was a boat fall from the sky. Perhaps.
Prabhu, your internet is coming very much behind. Oh, now it went completely. Okay, who wants to start to read this chapter? Ooh.
Haribo, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jani Prabhu, it worked. What
Here it
did you
is.
do, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Please accept my obeisances. Krishna Prabhupada.
What did you do, Prabhu?
What Prabhu?
I told Jani Prabhu to make you appear, and then you appeared.
Oh.
I made it appear. You know, this is my yogic power.
Yes, Prabhu. And it's every day. Hey, yesterday he appeared a second before Dr. Judge started the, what is this, book distribution.
Yes, Prabhu. Oh,
And I just wanna ask,
Hare Krishna, Kapil Prabhu, also Dandar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Kapil Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai
Krishna Jai Prabhu.
Jai.
Jai. Swami,
Haribo
Haribo.
Prabhu, Haribo.
Gyani Prabhu. I just wanna ask
Bon,
Gyani Prabhu.
Basumani. Prabhu.
Yes, Pasumani. Yeah, you're the first guy to pronounce it correctly. Pasumani.
We have gold
I'm
and
Lord South Africa. I'm Lord South Africa.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Haribo.
Kapil Srivatsa.
Sorry, Prabhu. Oh, Haribo.
I'm go to shower. I'm come back. I'm go to shower.
Oh, okay,
Ah,
Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu,
You're
yes.
coming back. Gyani Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
I just want to ask you, has the challenge started? Because I can see everyone is doing more than 16 rounds now.
I think yes, it started, and I saw that everyone is so fire up. So yes, very nice. Keep going.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
We need also to read more, but the reading session now we are doing other things. We need to read. Sorry, Prabhu,
Yes.
I want to read. Please, can I read?
Most of the reading session is nowadays like this only.
Hey, Prabhus. So Gianni Prabhu can start Akrura's return journey.
Yes.
Yes, but did we? Oh, yes.
Oh, Luvesh is even here.
Yes, Prabhu, but yes, Prabhu, he said he's a little bit.
Vivek Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hello. Luvesh Prabhu with his hat.
Is it cold there, Prabhu?
Yes,
Luvesh
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Is it cold?
Hello.
Oh, are you
Bhakta
coming
Jat,
like Bhakta
you're
Jat?
not the only one who has a hat.
Luvesh Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Is it cold?
No, I caught a cold.
Oh, you just like Bhakta Jat. Your miracles are on the hat.
Yes.
Bakashada.
Amore Prabhu. Dear devotees, I have to leave you. I have to write a very long message to Nimanitai Prabhu. So I see you in 15 minutes. Haribo.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so
Hare
much for
Krishna.
the invitation.
Haribo.
Kapil Prabhu, are you new in the group? Do we know?
Krishna
Just-
Prabhu.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
accept my
Jai
humble
Srila.
obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I'm. This is the second time I'm joining the reading session.
Oh, okay. So, yes,
Once very long time back.
yes. Thank you so much for joining. Haribo. Okay, Gianni Prabhu, you can start today because you are very eager to read.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Haribo.
Akrura's return journey and his visiting of Vishnuloka within the Yamuna River. Akrura was warmly received by Lord Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and offered a resting place for the night. In the meantime, the two brothers, Balaram and Krishna, went to take their supper. Akrura sat on his bed and began to reflect that all the desires which he had anticipated while coming from Mathura to Vrindavan has been fulfilled. Lord Krishna is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Being pleased with his pure devotee, he can offer whatever the devotee desires. But the pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for his personal benefit. After taking their supper, Krishna and Balaram came to bid good night to Akrura. Krishna asked about his maternal uncle Kamsa. How is he dealing with his friends? And he asked, how am I relative? He also inquired into Kamsam's plans. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then informed Akrura that his presence was very much welcome. He inquired from him whether all his relatives and friends were well and free from all kinds of ailments. Krishna stated that he was very sorry that his maternal uncle Kamsa was the head of the kingdom. He said that Kamsa was the greatest anachronism in the whole system of government and that they could not expect any welfare from the citizens while he ruled. Then Krishna said, "My father has undergone much tribulation simply from my being his son. For this reason, also he has lost many other sons. I think myself so fortunate that you have come as my friend and relative. My good friend Akrura, tell me the purpose of your coming to Vrindavan." After this inquiry, Akrura, who belonged to the dynasty of Yadu, explained the recent event in Mathura, including Kamsam's attempt to kill Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. He related the things which happened after the disclosure by Nalada that Krishna was the son of Vasudeva. Sitting by him in the house of Nanda Maharaj, Akrura narrated all the stories regarding Kamsa. He told how Nalada met Kamsa and how he himself was deputed by Kamsa to come to Vrindavan. Akrura explained to Krishna that Nalada had told Kamsa all about Krishna's being transferred from Mathura to Vrindavan just after his birth and about his killing all the demons sent by Kamsa. Akrura then explained to Krishna the purpose of his coming to Vrindavan, to take him back to Mathura. After hearing all of this arrangement, Balaram and Krishna, who are very expert in killing opponents, mildly laughed at the plan of Kamsa. They asked Nanda Maharaj to invite all the coward boys to go to Mathura to participate in the ceremony known as Danul Yagya. Kamsa wanted them all to go there to participate in the function. On Krishna's word, Nanda Maharaj at once called for the coward boys and asked them to collect all kinds of milk preparation and milk to present in the ceremony. He also sent instruction to the police chief of Vrindavan to tell all the inhabitants about Kamsa's great Dhanyo Yagya function and invite them to join. Nanda Maharaj informed the coward boys that they would start the next morning. They therefore arranged for the cows and bulls to carry them all to Mathura. When the gopis saw that Akrura had come to take Krishna and Balaram away to Mathura, they became overwhelmed with anxiety. Some of them became so aggrieved that their faces turned black, and they began to breathe warmly and had palpitation of the heart. They discovered that their hair and dress immediately loosed. Hearing the news that Krishna and Balaram were leaving for Mathura, others who were engaged in household duties stopped working as if they had forgotten everything, like a person who is called forth to die and leave this world at once. Others immediately faint due to the separation from Krishna. Remember his attractive smile and his talk with them. The gopis become overwhelmed with grief. They all remember the characteristic of the personality of Godhead, how he moved within the era of Vrindavan, and how with joking words, he attracted all their hearts. Thinking of Krishna and of the imminent separation from him, the gopis assembled together with heavy beating hearts. Completely absorbed in thought of Krishna, tears fell from their eyes. They began to converse as follows. Oh, Providence, you are so cruel. It appears that you do not know how to show mercy to others. By your arrangement, friends contact one another, but without fulfilling the desire, you separate them. This is exactly like children's play that has no meaning. It is very abominable that you arrange to show us beautiful Krishna, whose bluish curling hair beautify his broad forehead and sharp nose, who is always smiling to minimize all contention in this material world, and then arrange to separate him from us. Oh, Providence, you are so cruel. But most astonishingly, you appear now as a crueler, which mean not cruel. In the beginning, we appreciate your workmanship in giving us these eyes to see the beautiful face of Krishna. But now, just like a foolish creature, you are trying to take out our eyes so we may not see Krishna here again. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is also very cruel. He must always have new friends. He does not like to keep friendship for a long time with anyone. We gopis of Vrindavan, having left our homes, friends, and relatives, have become Krishna's maid servants. But he is neglecting us and going away. He does not even look upon us, although we are completely surrendered to him. Now all the young girls in Mathura will have the opportunity. They are expecting Krishna's arrival, and they will enjoy his sweet smiling face and will drink its honey. Although we know that Krishna is very steady and determined, we are threatened that as soon as he sees the beautiful face of the young girl in Mathura, he will forget himself. We fear he will become controlled by them, and will forget us, for we are simple village girls. He will no longer be kind to us. We therefore do not expect Krishna to return to Vrindavan. He will not leave the company of the girl in Mathura. The gopis began to imagine that great function in the city of Mathura. Krishna would pass through the street, and the ladies and young girls of the city would see him from the balconies of their respective house. Mathura city contained different communities, known then as Darshala, Bocha, Andaka, and Satvata. All these communities were different branches of the same family in which Krishna appeared, namely the Yadu dynasty. Then they were also expecting to the arrival of Krishna. It had already been ascertained that Krishna, who is the rest of the goddess of fortune and reservoir of all pleasure and transcendental qualities, was going to Mathura city. The gopi then began to condemn the activities of Akrura. They stated that he was taking Krishna, who was more dear than the dearest to them, and who was the pleasure of their eyes. He was being taken for their sight without they being informed of solace by Akrura. Akrura should not have been so merciless, but should have taken compassion on them. The gopis went on to say, the most astonishing feature is that Krishna, the son of Nanda, without consideration, has already seated himself on a chariot. From this, it appears that Krishna is not very intelligent. Yet he may be very intelligent, but he is not very civilized. Not only Krishna, but all the coward men are so callous that they are already yoking the bulls and calves for the journey to Mathura. The elderly person in Vrindavan are also merciless. They do not take our plight into consideration and stop Krishna's journey to Mathura. Even the demigods are very unkind to us. They are not impending is going to Mathura. The gopis prayed to the demigods to create some natural disturbance, such as a hurricane, storm, or heavy rainfall, so that Krishna could not go to Mathura. They then began to consider, despite our elderly parents and guardians, we should personally stop Krishna from going to Mathura. We have no other alternative than to take this direct action. Everyone has gone against us to take away Krishna from our sight. Without him, we cannot live for a moment. The gopis thus decided to obstruct the passage through which the chariot of Krishna was supposed to pass. They began to talk among themselves. We have passed a very long night, which seems only a moment, engaged in the rasa dance with Krishna. We were looking at his sweet smile and were embracing and talking. Now, how shall we live even for a moment if he goes away from us? At the end of the day, in the evening, along with his elder brother Balaram, Krishna would return home with his friend. His face would be smeared with the dust raised by the hooves of the cows, and he would smile and play on his flute and look upon us so kindly. How shall we be able to forget him? How shall we be able to forget Krishna, who is our life and soul? He has already taken away our hearts in so many ways throughout our days and nights, and if he goes away, there is no possibility of our continuing to live. Thinking like this, the gopis became more and more grief-stricken at Krishna's leaving Vrindavan. They could not check their mind, and they began to cry loudly, calling the different name of Krishna. Oh, dear Damodar, dear Madhav. The gopis cried all night before the departure of Krishna. As soon as the sun rose, Akrura finished his morning bath, got on the chariot, and began to start for Mathura with Krishna and Balaram. Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd man got up on the bullock carts after loading them with milk preparations such as yogurt, milk, and ghee, filled in the big earthen pot, and began to follow the chariot of Krishna and Balaram. In spite of Krishna's asking them not to obstruct their way, all the gopis surrounded the chariot and stood up to see Krishna with pitiable eyes. Krishna was very much affected upon seeing the plight of the gopi, but his duty was to start for Mathura, for this was foretold by Narada. Krishna therefore consulted the gopis. He told them that they should not be aggrieved. He was coming back very soon after finishing his business, but they could not be persuaded to disperse. The chariot, however, began to head west, and as it proceeded, The mind of the gopi followed it as far as possible. They watched the flag on the chariot as long as it was visible. Finally, they could only see the dust on the chariot in the distance. The gopi did not move from their places, but stood until the chariot could not be seen at all. They remained standing still, as if they were painting pictures. All the gopi decided that Krishna was not returning immediately, and with greatly disappointing hearts, they returned to their respective homes. Being greatly disturbed by the absence of Krishna, they simply thought all day and night about his pastime and thus derived some consolation. The Lord, accompanied by Akrura and Balaram, drove the chariot with great speed towards the bank of the Yamuna. Simply by taking a bath in the Yamuna, anyone can diminish the reaction of his sinful activities. Both Krishna and Balaram took their bath in the rivers and washed their face. After drinking the transparent crystal clear water of the Yamuna, they took their seats again on the chariot. Chariot was standing underneath the shade of big trees, and both brothers sat down there. Krura then took their permission to also take bath in the Yamuna according to Vedic rituals. After taking bath in the river, one should stand at least half submerged and murmur the Gayatri mantra. While he was standing in the river, Akrura suddenly saw both Balaram and Krishna within the water. He was surprised to see them there because he was confident that they were sitting on the chariot. Confused, he immediately came out of the water and went to see where the boys were. And he was very surprised to see that they were sitting on the chariot as before. When he saw them on the chariot, he began to wonder whether he saw them in the water. He therefore went back to the river. This time he saw not only Balaram and Krishna there, but many of the demigods and all the Sita, Chalana, and Kandalva. They were all standing before the Lord who was lying down. He also saw Sheshanaga with thousands of hoods. Lord Sheshanaga was covered with bluish garments, and his neck were all white. The white necks of Sheshanaga appeared exactly like snow-capped mountain. On the curved lap of Sheshanaga, Akrura saw Krishna sitting very soberly. With 4 hands, his eyes were like the reddish petals of the lotus flower. In other words, after returning, Akrura saw Balaram turn into Sheshanaga and Krishna turn into Mahavishnu. He saw the 4-handed Supreme Personality of Godhead smiling very beautifully. He was very pleasing to all and was looking towards everyone. He appeared beautiful with his raised nose, broad forehead, spread up ear, and reddish lips. His arms, reaching to the knees, were very strongly built. His shoulders were high, his chest very broad and shaped like the conch shell. His navel was very deep, and his abdomen was marked with 3 lines. His waist was broad and big, resembling the hips of a woman, and hips thighs resembled the trunks of elephant. The other parts of his leg, the joint and lower extremities were all very beautiful. The nails of his feet were dazzling. And his toes were as beautiful as the petal of lotus flower. His helmet was decorated with very valuable jewels. There was a nice belt around the waist, and he wore a secret thread across his broad chest. Bangles were on his hand, and armlets on the upper portion of his arm. He wore bells on his ankle. He possessed dazzling beauty, and his palms were like the lotus flower. He was still more beautiful with different emblems of the Vishnu Murti, the conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower, which he held in his forehand. His chest was marked with the particular sign of Vishnu, and he wore fresh flower garland. All in all, he was very beautiful to look at. Akrura also saw his lordship surrounded by intimate associates like the four Kumala, Sanaka, Sanata, Sananda, and Sanat Kumala, and other associates like Sunanda and Nanda, as well as demigod like Brahma and Lord Shiva. The 9 great learned sages were there, and devotees like Prahlad and Nalada were engaged in offering prayers to the Lord with clean hearts and pure words. After seeing the transcendental personality of Godhead, Akrura immediately became overwhelmed with great devotion, and all over his body there were transcendental shivering. Although for the moment he was bewildered, he retained his clear consciousness and bowed down his head before the Lord. With folded hand and faltering voice, he began to offer prayer to the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 38th chapter of Krishna, Akrura's return journey and his visiting of Vishnu Lok within the Yamuna River. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
So much, Prabhu.
Thank you. It was very nice.
Yes, this was a very nice chapter.
Haribo.
Haribo. Balaram turned into Sheshanaga.
Haribo.
Krishna turned into Mahavishnu. He went like into a spectator mode. In some games, there's like spectator mode. So he saw himself. What is the time? It's almost, let's see how long this is. 1, 2. Okay, it's only 4 pages. We can read this also. I can start the first page. Prayers by Akrura. Akrura offered his prayers as follows. My dear Lord, I here pay my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the supreme cause of all causes and the original inexhaustible personality, Narayana. From your navel, a lotus flower grows, and from that lotus, Brahma, the creator of this universe, is born. Since Brahma is the cause of this universe, you are the cause of all causes. All the elements of this cosmic manifestation, earth, water, air, ether, ego, and the total material energy, as well as nature, the marginal energy, the living entities, mind, senses, the sense objects, and the demigods who control the affairs of the cosmos, are all produced from your body. You are the super soul of everything, but no one knows your transcendental form. Everyone within this material world is influenced by the modes of material nature. Demigods like Lord Brahma, being covered by the influence of material nature, do not exactly know your transcendental existence beyond the cosmic manifestation of the 3 modes of material nature. Great sages and mystics worship you as the supreme person of Godhead, the original cause of all living entities, all cosmic manifestation, and all demigods. They worship you as all-inclusive. Some of the learned Brahmanas also worship you by observing the ritualistic ceremony of the Rig Veda. They offer different kinds of sacrifices in the names of different gods, and there are others who are fond of worshipping transcendental knowledge. They are very peaceful and wish to give up all kinds of material activities. They engage themselves in philosophical search for you known as Jnana Yoga. There are devotees who also known as Bhagavatas who worship you as the supreme person of Godhead. After being properly initiated in the method of Pancharatra, they decorate their bodies with tilak and engage in worshipping your different forms of Vishnu Murti. There are others also, known as Shaivites, followers of the different acharyas, who worship you in the form of Lord Shiva. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that worship of demigods is also indirectly worship of the Supreme Lord, but such worship is not orthodox, because the worshipable Lord is the Supreme Person of Godhead, Narayana. Demigods such as Brahma and Shiva are incarnations of the material qualities, which are also emanations from the body of Narayana. Actually, there was no one existing before the creation except Narayana, the Supreme Person of Godhead. The worship of demigod is not on the level with worship of Narayana. Akrura said, although the minds of those who are devotees of the demigods are fixed on a particular demigod, because you are the super soul of all living entities, including the demigods, worship of demigods indirectly goes to you. Sometimes after flowing down from the mountains during the rainy season, small rivers fail to reach the sea. Some reach the sea and some do not. Similarly, the worshippers of the demigods may or may not reach you. There is no guarantee. Their success depends on the strength of their worship. According to Vedic principle, when a worshipper worships a particular demigod, he also conducts some ritual for Narayana, Yagneshvara. For it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that demigods cannot fulfill the desires of their worshippers without the sanction of Narayana or Krishna. The exact word used in the Bhagavad Gita are Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan, which means that the demigods can award some benediction after being authorized by the Supreme Lord. When the demigod worshipper comes to his senses, he can reason as follows. The demigods can offer benediction only after being empowered by the Supreme Lord, so why not worship the Supreme Lord directly? Worshippers of the demigods may come to the Supreme Person of Godhead, but others who take demigod as all in all cannot reach the ultimate goal. Akrura continued to pray, my dear Lord, the whole world is filled with the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone within this material world is covered by these modes, from the Lord Brahma down to the immovable plants and trees. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are beyond the influence of the three modes. Except you, everyone is being carried away by the waves of these modes. My dear Lord, fire is your mouth, the earth is your feet, the sun is your eye, the sky is your navel, and the direction are your ears. Space is your head, the demigods are your arms, the oceans and seas are your abdomen, and the winds and air your strength and vitality. All the plants and herbs are the hair on your body. The clouds are your hair. The clouds are your hair, the mountains your bones and nails. The days and nights are the twinkling of your eyelids. Prajapati, the progenitor, is your genitals, and the rains are your semina. Karibu, one street.
So, like, I can
I wanted.
go
Yes,
we
Prabhu.
can.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Haribo, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Can I read?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Oh, do I start there? Okay, my dear. My dear Lord, all living entities, including different grades of demigods, different grades of overlords, kings, and other living entities, are supposed to be resting in you as part and parcel of the big unit. One cannot know you by experimental knowledge. One can simply understand your transcendental existence as the great ocean in which different grades of living entities are included, or as the fruit kadamba, out of which small mosquitoes come. My dear Lord, whatever eternal forms and incarnations you accept and which appears in this world are meant for relieving the living entities from their ignorance, illusion, and lamentation. All people therefore can appreciate the incarnations and pastimes of your Lordship and eternally glorify your activities. No one can estimate how many forms and incarnations you have, nor can anyone estimate the number of universes that are existing within you. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the incarnations of fish. Yeah, incarnations of fish who appeared in devastation. Although your lordship is the cause of all causes, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the higher griva incarnation who killed the two demons, Madhu and Kaitabaha. Is it Kaitaba? Prabhu, did I pronounce it right? Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as the gigantic tortoise and held up the great mountain Mandara, and who appeared as the bow, as the bow, who rescued them earth planet which had fallen into the waters of Garobodaka. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto your lordship who appeared as Narasimha Dev, who delivered all kinds of devotees from the fearful conditions of atheistic atrocities. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as Vamana Dev and covered the three worlds simply by expanding your lotus feet. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as the Lord of the Bregas in order to kill all the infidel administrators of the world. And let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as Lord Rama to kill demons like Ravana. You are worshipped by all devotees as the chief of the Raghu dynasty, Lord Ramachandra. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as Lord Vasudeva, Lord Sankarasan, Lord Pradumnaya, Lord Anirudaya. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as Lord Buddha in order to bewilder the atheistic and demoniac. And let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you who appeared as Kalki in order to chastise the so-called royal order degraded to the abnominal condition of the Mlechas, who are below the jurisdiction of Vedic regulative principles. My dear Lord, everyone within the material world is conditioned by your illusory energy under the impression of false identification and false. Prabhu, I just want to ask, Kalki, isn't it the incarnation that's coming?
Yes, bro.
Oh, are we reliving again? Okay, Prabhu. False possession. Everyone is transmigrating. Okay, everyone is transmigrating from one body to another in the path of fruitive activities and their reactions. My dear Lord, I am also no exemption to these conditioned souls. I am falsely thinking myself happy in possessing my home, wife, children, state, property, and effects. In this way, I am acting as if in a dreamland because none of these are permanent. I am a fool to be always absorbed in such thoughts, accepting them as permanent and true. My dear Lord, due to my false identification, I have accepted everything which is non-permanent, such as this material body, which is not spiritual and is the source of all kinds of miserable conditions. Being bewildered by such conceptions of life, I am always absorbed in thoughts of duality, and I have forgotten you, who are the reservoir of all transcendental pleasure. I am how do you pronounce it? Bereft of your transcendental association, and I'm just like a foolish creature who goes in search of water in the desert, leaving the water spot which is covered by water nourished vegetables. The conditioned souls want to quench their thirst, but they do not know where to find water. They give up the spot where there is actually a reservoir of water and run into the desert where there is no water. My dear Lord, I am completely incapable of controlling my mind, which is now driven by the unbridled senses and is attracted by fruitive activities and their results. My dear Lord, your lotus feet cannot be appreciated by any person in the conditional stage of material existence, but somehow or other I have come near your lotus feet, and I consider this to be your causeless mercy upon me. You can act in any way because you are the supreme controller. I can thus understand that when a person becomes eligible to be delivered from the path of repeated birth and death, it is only by your causeless mercy that he further progresses to become attached to your causeless devotional service. Akurura fell down before the Lord and said, My dear Lord, your transcendental eternal form is full of knowledge. Simply by concentrating one's mind upon your form, one can understand in full knowledge everything that be, because you are the original source of all knowledge. You are the supreme powerful, possessing all kinds of energies. You are the supreme Brahman and the supreme person, supreme controller and master of the material energies. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are Vasudeva, the resting place of all creation. You are the all-pervading supreme personality of Godhead, and you are also the supreme soul residing in everyone's heart and giving direction to act. Now, my Lord, I am completely surrendered unto you. Please give me your protection. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 39th chapter of Krishna. Prayers by Akurum.
Akrura.
Haribo. Akrura.
Yes, Prabhu, Akrura.
Oh, I thought that's an M at the end.
No, Prabhu.
Akrura.
Haribo.
Akrura.
Akur. Is it Akururu? Akrura.
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 This is how it is.
Oh. Akrura.
Akrur.
Akrur.
Luvesh wrote it in the chat box. Akrur.
Yes, Prabhu.
Akrur.
So tomorrow Krishna will enter into Mathura.
Like Mathura and Vrindavan not so much distance, Prabhu. As I like we went in with Prahlad Prabhu, so we have seen that Mathura and Vrindavan not so far, but
Yes, Prabhu.
it will be 130 kilometers.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Haribo. That's not too long. Teto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagninirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम्नामकारि भूता निज सर्वशक्तिर्दत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालाये तादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशम् अयजनेन
Trinad api sunichena daro api sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
Nayanam galadasrudaraya vadanam gadgadarudaya giram pulakairine chitam vapukada tvavanam agrahane bhavishyati.
दायित्वं निमेषेण शापायितुं न्यायितुं सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहेण मे
Asisleva padaratam pinastumam adarshanam marmam hatam karotuva yata tata va vidatulang pato matprananatastu sa eva narpana.
Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge, it increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
Oh, oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself Lord than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the heads of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering. Sorry. I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna, my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly or by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Shishi Shastakam ki.
Ja,
Jai.
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Ribo. Ribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
What is the offense? To blaspheme the
First
devotees
offense.
who have dedicated their lives for getting the holy name.
To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of the Lord Vishnu.
May the orders of the spiritual master consider him as an ordinary person.
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in preference to the Vedic version.
If one to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to an imagination.
To give some interpretation of the holy names of the Lord, something like that.
To commit
Seventh,
activities on the strength of the holy name.
eighth one to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an auspicious ritualistic activity which is offered as fruitive activities, karma.
Go.
You instruct the faithless persons about the glories of the holy name.
Do not have complete faith and to maintain materialistic attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Ribo.
Vancha kalpa tarubhya kripa sindhuvata
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नंद गौरिया वैष्णव की जय श्री प्रभु की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
Very good. Right.